So I will start a new chapter in this class, that is vitamins, vaccines and anti-sera and minerals. I'll start off with vaccines and anti-sera. Now you have a very small part in your portion about vaccines and anti-sera. So they are part of passive and active immunization essentially. Vaccines and anti-sera. Vaccines come under active immunization. This comes under passive. Active immunization is administering an antigen into the host and you're inducing antibody production. So you give you give an antigen into the patient. Okay, let us suppose you are giving an antigen into this person, and this fellow in turn is producing antibodies, immunoglobulins in their body. Okay. So that process where you are making the person produce their own antibodies against this particular antigen is active immunization. Now vaccines are used for active immunization of multiple diseases. Generally suspensions of microorganisms. They can be dead microorganisms or live ones, live attenuated ones. They will be live but they will lose their virulence. They'll not be able to infect or they will not be able to cause the disease. These are given through the vaccine and they will stimulate the immunological defense. Now the antigen can be anything. It is generally a protein of the microorganism. Okay, whether it is bacteria, virus, whatever it is, one or the other part of its body is generally given, and that will act as an antigen triggering a reaction. So the next time whenever you are infected by the same antigen, your body will have memory B cells and memory T cells that will be able to react much more quickly, and they will be able to mount a immune response against that antigen or against that disease. Okay, these are used prophylactically. As you can understand, these are given much more before the disease can actually occur. Okay. Now you'll find multiple different vaccines in the market for multiple diseases. You will find BCG, tuberculosis के लिए, cholera. These are all bacterial vaccines. Diphtheria, pertussis, typhoid, meningococcal vaccine, plague vaccine, Haemophilus influenza vaccine. ठीक है, Haemophilus influenza, especially type B vaccine. Now they are given over various routes. Some are given as subcutaneous routes, some are given intramuscular route. ठीक है, most of them are intramuscular though. Anyway, you also get viral vaccines as well. For example, आप hepatitis की ले सकते हैं, hep A, poliomyelitis की ले सकते हैं, measles की ले सकते हैं, इन्फ्लुएंजा की ले सकते हैं, varicella zoster की ले सकते हैं, येलो फीवर की ले सकते हैं. ठीक है, and depending on different types of vaccines, you will have only a primary dose or you might have primary dose and booster dose. So some vaccines, for example, जैसा BCG vaccine है. BCG vaccine requires two different doses, one at birth and then again one at 7 to 14 years old. Whereas meningococcal vaccines, there is only one dose. ठीक है, only a single dose is given. Same for pneumococcal or plague as well. ठीक है, most of them require a booster dose. Some of them don't. Varicella zoster does not require a booster dose. So on and so forth. There are multiple types of vaccines. Now, coming to this thing, passive immunization and anti-sera. Through passive immunization, you are essentially giving synthetic antibodies to the patient. Okay, you are making the antibodies externally, generally horse may or some other animal. Horse ही commonly use करते. Essentially what you do is you give the vaccine to the horse, or you take the serum. Essentially आप vaccine देके horse को, the immunoglobulins or the antibodies that are formed inside the horse will be extracted and those immunoglobulins will be given to you. Okay. Now, so in this scenario, what you are doing is you are giving an antigen to one fellow or to an animal. Animal is producing immunoglobulins. These immunoglobulins are being extracted and given to human. Okay, that will become an anti-sera. You are passively giving, you're directly giving immunity to the patient. Okay, this is essentially direct transfer of antibodies. Okay, अब आप multiple diseases के लिए you can find anti-sera. Nowadays you'll find it for diphtheria, tetanus, rabies, botulinum, gas gangrene, हेपेटाइटिस बी, एंटी स्नेक वेनन के लिए बहुत कॉमन रहता, वाइपर्स, कोबरा, क्रेट, ये पूरों के लिए, because in those scenarios you cannot give vaccine, especially after a patient has been bit, उसमें तो नहीं दे सकते आप. You can give for this thing as well, क्या बोलते हैं आपका, ह्यूमन गामा ग्लोबुलिन के लिए भी दे सकते हैं, ठीक है. फॉर एग्जांपल इट इज यूज्ड इन मम्प्स, मीजल्स, रुबेला, ये पूरों में ह्यूमन गामा ग्लोबुलिन यूज करते हैं. देयर आर अदर कंडीशंस एज वेल, साइटोमेगालोवायरस, एचआईवी इन्फेक्टेड चिल्ड्रन, ये पूरों में एंटीसीरा अवेलेबल है. टू वेरिंग डिग्रीज इट विल वर्क, ठीक है. Now, generally, the problem with anti-sera is that allergic reactions are much more common and much more severe with anti-sera when compared to vaccines. Even with vaccines, there is always the risk of allergic reactions, but it is much more higher with anti-sera, because that vaccine has already been injected in a different animal, and वो animal can immunoglobulins ले रहे हैं आप. So there is a chance that the person might be allergic to these animal proteins as well. So allergic reaction, especially serum sickness can occur. Serum sickness is a severe type of allergic reaction occurs when you give serum to a patient. Anaphylactic shock हो सकता. Those two are the major ones. ठीक है. Now, coming to vitamins, so that is about vaccines and anti-sera. As I told you, not a lot. So your vitamins are, again, we had this last year as well in biochemistry. So I'll just be going over the basics of it and where it is used specifically, and not in complete detail. So you have both fat soluble ones and water soluble ones. Fat soluble ones will be ADEK. Water soluble ones will be divided into B complex and vitamin C. B complex में फिर multiple types आते. Now, first of all, we'll talk about vitamin A. So vitamin A is present in, it is actually quite rich in your diet. Retinol is the main type of vitamin A, but you can also get retinal or retinoic acid depending on what type of functional group is attached to the main body. Generally, you will find this in green and yellow vegetables. Good sources of vitamin A. Can anyone tell me what are good sources of vitamin A?
So carrot.
Hmm. और कोई है
Fish.
क्या? Fish, okay. Any specific fish or fish in general? Okay, fish, let's suppose. Especially fish liver oils, ठीक है. कॉड लिवर ऑयल या शार्क लिवर ऑयल जो रहता है उसमें बहुत रिच रहता. You can also find it in eggs, milk, butter. All of these are decent sources. Green leafy vegetables are a good sources of vitamin A. Mango is a decent source. Papaya is as well. Now, physiologically, vitamin A is required for adaptation of your vision, adaptation to darkness. So whenever you move into a dark room, let us suppose you move into a dark room from a well lit room, it will take a few seconds for your eyes to adjust to that darkness. In patients who have vitamin A deficiency, the time will be prolonged. It will take longer for them to adapt to darkness. Sometimes they might not adapt. Okay. It is essential for synthesizing rhodopsin, which is a photosensitive pigment present in your retina. It is also very important for maintaining epithelial cell integrity. Without it, your skin and skin will become dry and there will be epithelial damage. There might be dryness of eyes as well. So if there is vitamin A deficiency, normally the patient will have xerophthalmia, that is, dryness of the eyes. Sometimes they might have night blindness. They'll become completely blind during the night. They'll not be able to see at all. Diarrhea, dry and rough skin. Okay? These are early stages. If it goes on for a long period of time, cornea may be perforated, there might be necrosis and complete blindness that will occur. Like even during the day, they will not be able to see. Keratomalacia might occur. Okay? Cornea will become very cloudy. Keratomalacia mein. So to avoid that, there are a few daily, basic requirements of vitamin D. Prophylactically, you can take about 3,000 to, this is prophylactic, meaning before you see any symptoms, just to make sure that your body is functioning healthily. प्रोफाइलैक्टिक या प्रोफाइलैक्सिस के वैसा आप क्या कर सकते हो, preventive measure. Essentially you can take about 3000 to 5000 international units per day. ठीक है. Else if you're treating the patient for a particular disease, specifically for hypovitaminosis or hypovitamin A, very low amount of vitamin A, then you have to give about 50,000 to 1 lakh international units. ठीक है. You can give this intramuscularly, you can give it orally for 1 to 3 days, and you'll start supplementing normal multivitamins, and you'll start supplementing with vitamin A supplement over a period of time. आप acne में भी दे सकते हैं, ठीक है. Now another, coming to the other spectrum of vitamin A, if there can be deficiency, there can also be excessive amount of vitamin A, that is called hypervitaminosis. Sometimes this is generally seen, hypervitaminosis is generally seen in over enthusiastic parents, or sometimes even adults who are very enthusiastic about taking their vitamins. There is a limit to which you are supposed to take vitamins. ठीक है. Generally vitamins are required in very very small quantity. It is required every day, but they are required in very small quantities. If you keep on taking multiple multivitamins per day, and if you go on for a long period of time, it can lead to hypervitaminosis. Specifically, if vitamin A starts getting accumulated in your body, that patient will have hyperkeratosis, which will again lead to dry skin, anorexia, fever, alopecia, anemia, skin ulcers might occur. There might be tenderness over bones, edema might appear. ठीक है. All of these problems occur because of hypervitaminosis, vitaminosis of A. ठीक है. Now coming to vitamin D. So vitamin D we've like practically discussed in the morning. I'll not go into again a lot of detail. The only things that we did not discuss other than function in the morning was daily requirement. Daily requirement will be about 400 international units per day. Okay, this much. This is about 10 mg of the drug per day is required. If you're not able to give vitamin D properly, deficiency of vitamin D generally leads to rickets and osteomalacia. Okay. Now in case you are trying to treat this thing, आप calciferol tablets दे सकते हैं. कोई calciferol or calciferol tablets, you can give about 25,000 international units to 50,000 international units. You'll get capsules of vitamin D. You'll also get shark liver oil with vitamin D capsules. उसके capsules मिलते हैं, उसके vials भी मिलते हैं. You can inject that as well. ठीक है. In severe cases, you will generally have to inject. Now, if you give very high doses of vitamin D, especially for a long period of time, again, it can cause hypervitaminosis D. In that scenario, this patient will have decalcification of bones, okay? There will be hypercalcemia because there is excessive absorption of calcium from your intestines, and hyperphosphatemia as well, because vitamin D influences both phosphate and calcium absorption from your intestines. There will be increased thirst, abdominal pain, renal stones might be formed, and some patients it might lead to hypertension. Excessive amount of unnecessary vitamin D supplementation will lead to hypertension. As I told you, the same symptoms will appear most often in children because of parents essentially. Okay. आप विटामिन डी रेसिस्टेंट रिकेट्स में दे सकते हैं, विटामिन डी डिपेंडेंट रिकेट्स में दे सकते हैं, सीनाइल ऑस्टियोपोरोसिस में दे सकते हैं. सीनाइल ऑस्टियोपोरोसिस इज व्हेन ओल्डर पीपल स्टार्ट डेवलपिंग ऑस्टियोपोरोसिस. You can give oral supplementation of vitamin D. You can give it in case of hypoparathyroidism. In case of hypoparathyroidism, calcitriol is vitamin D. Calcitriol with calcium can be given. Vitamin D3 को calcitriol बोलते हैं. Very beneficial. ठीक है, आप प्रोफाइलैक्टिकली भी ले सकते हैं. एवरी डे इफ यू आर टेकिंग 400 इंटरनेशनल यूनिट्स, it will be fine. Or you can take an injection of about 3 lakh international units every 3 to 6 months. That will also prevent vitamin D deficiency, whatever works. Okay. Now, if you want to make sure that every day you are taking adequate amount of vitamin D, you need to make sure you are eating things like butter, milk, fish liver oil, egg yolk, liver. All of these are decent sources of vitamin D. And coming to vitamin K, this is very important for clotting factors. Like you will have three different forms of vitamin K, and they will be produced. They will be present in different. How should I put it? Different organisms in a way. Vitamin K1 is from plant source. K2 is produced by the bacteria in your gut, so microflora. K3 is produced therapeutically. Okay, so you have three different types: K1, K2, and K3. This is a synthetic one that is produced in a lab, given therapeutically as well in case of vitamin K deficiency. This is produced by bacteria in your gut, so microflora in your gut, and K1 is produced in plants. Okay. This is very important for the production of four clotting factors: factor 2, factor 7, factor 9, and 10. Okay. You can remember this by this logic: 9 minus 7 is 2, 10 is very close to 9. वैसा याद रख ले सकते हैं आप. Now whatever way you want to, you can remember it, but this is one simple way you can remember it. ठीक है, 2, 7, 9, 10. Those are the factors that are produced by the action of vitamin K on liver. ठीक है. If there is vitamin K deficiency, obviously there will be a problem in coagulation. Generally vitamin K deficiency occurs due to malabsorption. Malabsorption कैसा होता? There is damage to your intestines, or there is improper antibiotic used, improper or irrational usage of ABX, antibiotic therapy. So what happens is, if you use antibiotics irrationally, it will generally kill the bacteria present in your gut, and that severely affects the production of vitamin K in your body, also affects the absorption of vitamin K in your body. In both of these situations, generally the patient will have bleeding tendencies. They'll start showing bleeding tendencies. Okay. If you give excessive doses of vitamin K supplementation अगर आप दिए, so it might lead to allergic reactions and jaundice can occur. You can use it in vitamin K deficiency. You can use vitamin K supplementation even in newborn people, newborn babies. Newborn babies will not have as much intestinal flora, so they will have, less intestinal flora, and they will also have low amounts of prothrombin factor 2. ये कम रहता. So some other clotting factors will also not be present because the liver is also developing. It will not be complete. So if you are able to routinely give them vitamin K1 intramuscular, it will prevent any hemorrhagic diseases or any bleeding disorders in the patient. Then अगर oral anticoagulant toxicity भी हुई, let's suppose someone is taking excessive amounts of oral anticoagulant, toxic amounts of oral anticoagulant, in that situation you can give vitamin K because it will reverse the effects of oral anticoagulant. This itself is a coagulator, though, or it will facilitate coagulation, so it is acting against anticoagulant therapy. Then coming to the next one, we have vitamin E. Now vitamin E or tocopherol, alpha tocopherol भी बोलते हैं इसको, this is present in your soybean oil, wheat germ oil, ये पूरा में रहता. You can find it in nuts, cereals, green leafy vegetables. To a certain extent you'll find it in eggs as well. On an average every day, average human needs about 10 to 15 milligrams of vitamin E per day. Generally, you will not have to take supplementation of vitamin E because clinically it is almost impossible for humans to have deficiency of vitamin E. Whatever you eat will generally have adequate amounts of vitamin E. Very rarely you will find patients who will have some other disorder that is causing vitamin E deficiency. या तो उनके अंदर absorption disorder है or something. And patients who do get vitamin E deficiency, they will generally have sterility because it is very important for reproductive health. It might cause sterility. It might lead to menopausal syndrome. Um, उसके अलावा there is a chance that patient might be susceptible to G6PD deficiency, so they might develop G6PD deficiency later on. ठीक है. Anyway, reproductive problems are the more common ones, but very rarely seen. Normally होता नहीं है. ठीक है. Hemopoietic system abnormalities can also be seen in some patients, as in there might be problem in the formation of blood elements. There might be problems in the spinal cord as well, degenerative changes in the spinal cord and heart if vitamin E is not proper. Okay. Normally deficiency does not occur. If it is occurring, then these symptoms will occur. Okay. 99% of the times deficiency of vitamin E is almost clinically impossible if the patient is taking normal healthy diet. Okay, even if they don't take a healthy diet, with whatever they eat there is enough amount of vitamin E. Now coming to the water soluble vitamins, we'll start with thiamine, B complex, which is the first vitamin in B complex, which is thiamine. This has vitamin B1. You can find this B1 in cereals, pulses, green leafy vegetables, rice polishing, peace में भी अच्छा रहता. You can find a little bit of it in meat as well. Now the importance of thiamine is that it will act as a coenzyme in carbohydrate metabolism. In a lot of reactions you will see that B1 is acting as a coenzyme, meaning without the presence of B1 a lot of enzymes will not work properly, meaning a lot of metabolic reactions will not occur properly. And if there is deficiency of vitamin B1, it will cause a specific condition called beriberi. ठीक है. Now you can have both wet beriberi and dry beriberi. Wet beriberi में generally severe cardiovascular problems होते हैं. Dry beriberi में neurological problems होते हैं, CNS problems. In any scenario, uh, both of those are bad. So if you are looking for daily supplementation, about 1 to 2 milligrams per day is decent source. ठीक है. 1 to 2 milligrams per day should be prophylactically more than enough to keep beriberi in check. Should not happen अगर आप 1 to 2 milligrams खा सक रहे. You will use it essentially vitamin B1 supplementation is given in pregnant women, lactating women. You can give it obviously to treat beriberi. If there is beriberi, then you give about 50 mg every day parenterally, IM or IV, whatever you prefer or whatever the patient prefers. Now, once the patient has recovered from beriberi, maintain a dose of about 10 milligrams per day orally. You'll give oral vitamin B1 supplement for a period of time. Okay. In case of chronic alcoholics, vitamin B1 deficiency can occur because they'll not be able to uh, absorb it properly. ठीक है. विटामिन B1 की डेफिशिएंसी इसलिए होती है क्योंकि chronic alcoholics में their metabolic process is not proper. Specifically, their absorption process is not proper. So in them, vitamin B1 will not be absorbed properly, leading to deficiency. Chronic alcoholic especially. So उनके अंदर 50 mg every day should be given. That's about vitamin B1. Then some patients will also have anorexia because of vitamin B1 deficiency. Other than beriberi, peripheral neuritis या anorexia भी appear होता. जो CNS symptoms रहते हैं वो peripheral neuritis रहता. Then coming to B2, riboflavin. Now decent sources of riboflavin will be milk, eggs, liver, You can find it in grains. You can find a decent amount of this in green leafy vegetables as well. Okay. Now, physiologically, riboflavin is a part of FAD and FMN, flavin mononucleotide and flavin adenine dinucleotide. These are participating in oxidative and reduction reactions and multiple metabolic reactions in your body. Without a lot of B complex vitamins, you will see that they take part in metabolic reactions without in one way or the other, either directly or indirectly. अगर ये vitamins present नहीं है, तो those metabolic reactions will not occur properly. Okay. Dried yeast is also a decent source of vitamin B2. Now, its requirement will vary a little bit depending on the age and gender as well. If you take a, let's suppose their activity also will matter, but on an average, men will need about 1.5 to 2.2 milligrams per day. Women will need about men need about 1.3 to 2.2. This is sedentary worker. This is heavy worker. Women will need somewhere in between 1 to 1.7 milligrams per day. All of this is milligrams per day. If it is a pregnant woman or lactating woman, pregnant women के अंदर plus 0.2. So depending on whatever they are. So sedentary women है तो sedentary work if they do, then it is 1 milligrams per day. If they are pregnant and they are sedentary, then it is 1.2. Lactation will be plus 0.4. So whatever their normal requirement is based on their daily activity plus this or this. Okay, whether they are lactating or they are pregnant. Now, if there is deficiency of vitamin B1, B2, sorry, normally the patient will have angular stomatitis. Angular stomatitis is when they will have, how should I put it? There will be inflammation of the corners of their mouth. Okay. Stomatitis is when their mouth will be inflamed. When the corners of their mouth is getting inflamed, that is called angular stomatitis. Their tongue will be inflamed. Glossitis might occur. One very special side effect that occurs, side effect nahi, deficiency disorder that occurs because of riboflavin deficiency is their tongue will become magenta in color. So magenta tongue is generally associated with vitamin B2 deficiency. देयर माइट बी अल्सर्स इन देयर माउथ. ठीक है, तो वो अल्सर ट्रीट करने के लिए भी आप विटामिन B2 दे सकते हैं. ड्राई स्किन, एलोपेशिया माइट अकर. You can use vitamin B2 for prevention and treatment. You give about 2 to 10 mg tablets. Small pills आते हैं. Every day 2 to 10 mg can be given and it will reverse the effects of the problem. Then there is vitamin B3, niacin. इसको निकोटिनिक एसिड भी बोलते हैं. Now, good sources of niacin will be rice polishings, liver, fish, milk, pulses, nuts. All of these are good sources of niacin. Physiologically, niacin is getting converted, niacin or nicotinic acid will get converted into nicotinamide. And nicotinamide will be present in the form of either NAD or NADP, both of which are very important for multiple oxidative and oxidation reduction reactions. Okay. And nicotinic acid is also a lipid lowering agent. So indirectly you can tell that if a patient has niacin deficiency, they are at a high risk of developing atherosclerosis. Okay. Because nicotinic acid is decreasing the amount of lipid in your body. If there is deficiency of nicotinic acid, unke andar the risk of atherosclerosis will go up because their lipid levels will indirectly go up. Now, if there is niacin deficiency, the most common disorder will be pellagra, skin disorder. You'll see pellagra in another condition as well, but I'll explain that later. Anyway, pellagra can be skin. There will be involvement of skin, GIT, and CNS. Generally, niacin deficiency is characterized by something called third symptoms. When a patient has niacin deficiency, उनके अंदर diarrhea, dermatitis, and dementia occurs. So there will be skin problem, sorry, GIT problem, skin problem, and CNS problem. GIT, skin, and CNS. That is why it is called third symptoms. These three will occur together. If you are leaving it untreated for a while, that patient will die. Okay. Now pellagra में क्या होता, skin will become very very rough. That is why skin will become bright red. Erythema might be seen. Now there is increased pigmentation around the patient's neck as well. ठीक है, it will appear as a necklace. जो neck के around area रहता हो, that will become darker than the rest of the skin. That phenomenon is called Castle's necklace. ठीक है, Castle's necklace बोलते हैं उसको. Other than that, diarrhea hota, which itself, the patient might have weight loss, there will be nausea and vomiting. Dementia might occur, and dementia generally occurs in chronic cases. If there is vitamin B3 deficiency for a long period of time, jab niacin deficiency hoti. And generally patients who have dementia, unke andar delirium, especially with acute pellagra, they will become very irritable. They will have very poor memory. In some cases, they will have ataxia as well. Ataxia, and they will have spasticity. Ataxia is a condition in which they will not be able to coordinate their movement properly, hence they will not be able to walk properly. And spasticity is essentially a condition in which it is almost like a spasm. Spasticity mein kya hota? Muscles will become abnormally tight and they will not be able to move those muscles. ठीक है, so niacin में spasticity and ataxia भी हो सकता कभी. Now niacin deficiency can be because of tryptophan deficiency. How so? Tryptophan is a very important amino acid. ठीक है, tryptophan जो है, it gets converted into niacin. Technically speaking, how should I put it? Now, normally, patients who are, let's suppose, people who are consuming maize in their staple diet, ठीक है, या फिर let's suppose they are taking sorghum. Sorghum is this thing. sorghum किसको बोलते हैं मैडम? जवार के आटे को बोलते हैं sorghum. जवार को बोलते हैं sorghum. I'm not sure whether what it is called in your language, but sorghum, or it's called jawar in Hindi, or actually Urdu as well. Uh, and people who eat maize. Maize is generally very common in South and Central America, and in Central and Western India, sorghum or jawar is very common. इनके अंदर when patients take this, what will happen is they in those patients leucine is present, especially patients who take sorghum. It contains a very high amount of leucine, another amino acid. Leucine generally inhibits the conversion of niacin to nicotinic acid. तो उनके अंदर pellagra हो सकता, that is one way. Maize, the people who take maize, unke andar niacin is present, but that niacin is in bound form. It is not free to be converted into another form. Okay, people who take sorghum or jawar, they will have niacin, but that niacin is bound to other compounds, and when it is bound to other compounds, it is not free to perform its own pathway or its own function. So wo condition में भी pellagra हो सकता. Another thing, there is something called kynurenase. ठीक है, kynurenase. ठीक है, this is an enzyme present in tryptophan pathway. ठीक है, tryptophan का जो normal conversion pathway रहता, that depends on this enzyme. ठीक है, so what happens is tryptophan gets converted into niacin with the help of this enzyme. When a patient is having deficiency of tryptophan, there will be deficiency of niacin as well. ठीक है, technically it is also associated with pyridoxine. Tryptophan, pyridoxine, and this thing vitamin B3 work hand in hand. अगर तीनों में से एक की भी डेफिशिएंसी हुई तो बाकी के दो की डेफिशिएंसी होती है. More importantly, there will be niacin deficiency. So if either there is pyridoxine deficiency, or if there is this thing tryptophan deficiency, amino acid tryptophan deficiency, that can also lead to niacin deficiency. And if there is niacin deficiency, there will be pellagra. So उसको tryptophan induced pellagra बोलते हैं. technically it is not a problem with niacin. You are taking enough amount of niacin. There might be a problem with tryptophan, or there might be a problem with pyridoxine, so उसकी वजह से हो सकता हो. Now if you are trying to give let's suppose you are trying to treat pellagra, generally you can give prophylactically 50 to 500 mg tablets of niacin. ठीक है. इन केस ऑफ सीवियर, जनरली सीवियर कंडीशन नहीं होता, सीवियर कंडीशन में ट्रीट करना मुश्किल होता. जनरली व्हेन द पेशेंट इज कमिंग इन acute stages, you try to treat them as soon as possible. Now there might be other symptoms other than what I told you, dermatitis, diarrhea and dementia के अलावा, and other than pigmentation of skin. Some people will have inflammation of their this thing mouth, and inflammation of their tongue as well. So stomatitis and glossitis might occur. Megaloblastic anemia might occur in some patients. थोड़े पेशेंट्स में hallucinations भी होते. So those are other symptoms that will occur other than, you know, dementia, diarrhea and dermatitis. Those three symptoms might also occur. I will continue with vitamin B6 and the rest tomorrow. Okay. We have minerals and this thing left. Bhai ke vitamins. Again, it's not very complicated, just memory based. So, करने के बाद will the chapter will be over.